Kristi here, and I am so excited to be together again cooking in the kitchen. Today we are learning how to make easy, cheesy potatoes. These potatoes have just 5 ingredients, and they only cook in our microwave for 3.5 minutes. We're gonna have fun making this together today, and I'm so glad you're here.
Always calm and always bright tonight.
Now, the first step to cooking and working in the kitchen is to wash our hands. While I wash my hands with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds, let's go over the ingredients and supplies that you'll need to gather to cook along today. The ingredients you'll need are 2 frozen hash brown patties, half a cup of shredded cheese, 1/4 cup milk, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a pinch of pepper. The supplies you'll need are a small mixing bowl, liquid measuring cup, half a cup dry measuring cup, 1/4 teaspoon, a fork, and oven mitts for safety. Okay, great. Your hands are clean and my hands are clean. We've gathered our ingredients and supplies, so let's get started making our easy, cheesy potatoes. So these will just cook in the microwave today, so we don't need to preheat an oven or anything like that. So the first thing you're gonna do is take your small mixing bowl and set it right in front of you, and then grab your 2 hash brown patties. So these are 2 hash brown patties that were frozen, so we need to just warm them up a little bit so that we can mash them with a fork. So all I'm gonna do is put each of these in our bowl, and now we're just going to microwave this for 30 seconds. Like I said, we just want it to warm up a little bit so that we can then mash it before we start adding a few more ingredients. So now that they're in your mixing bowl, you're gonna pop this in your microwave and cook it for 30 seconds, and then we'll come back. All right, friends, so these just cooked in the microwave for 30 seconds to warm them up a bit. So now grab your fork, and we're just going to use our fork to mash these up a little bit before we start adding our other ingredients. So all I'm doing is taking my fork and just kind of stabbing it and twisting, stabbing and twisting. You can also use the back of your fork a little bit too. Whatever method you find works best. We just want to get these broken up before we add our cheese, which is the next ingredient. And again, that's why we popped them in the microwave, because if you tried to do this with very frozen hash brown patties, it would not be easy. So this just makes it a little bit easier for us. All right, once you can see that they're all shredded up inside of our bowl, you can put your fork to the side, but put it next to you because we will use that again to stir everything in just a minute. And now we're gonna add our cheese. So we need a half a cup of shredded cheese. So I'm going to grab my 1/2 cup dry measuring cup. It's gonna say 1/2. And then I'm gonna grab my shredded cheese. Now, any type of cheese you wanna use, I'm just using like a cheddar cheese, but if you have a different flavor that you like, go for it. And we're just going to scoop out half a cup. Fill up my little bowl. If you get a little extra, that's okay. You can't have too much cheese. All right, so I have my half a cup, and I'm just going to dump this right in here. You can put your 1/2 cup dry measuring cup to the side. We are now done with that. And now we need to add our salt and pepper. So we need 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So I'm gonna grab my 1/4 teaspoon, it says 1/4 TSP, and my salt. I'm just gonna take the cover off and scoop out 1/4 teaspoon and just sprinkle it right over top. You can actually put this to the side, your 1/4 teaspoon. We are done with that because we only need a pinch of pepper. So I don't even need to measure a whole 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. I'm just gonna take the top off like we've done before, pour a little bit in my hand, and then just pinch and sprinkle that on. Maybe we'll do a little bit more. A pinch or 2, depending on how much pepper that you like. Brush off the rest. You are done with your pepper. You can put that to the side. And now we're just gonna give this a quick mix. So take your fork, give this a mix around. We just want to get the cheese mixed in with the hash browns that we shredded up. All right, the last thing we're going to do is add our milk. And once we add the milk, we're not gonna stir it just yet. So you can put your fork to the side, we'll use that in a minute, but grab your liquid measuring cup and your milk. And we are going to measure 1/4 cup of milk. So it's gonna be 1/4. So I'm just going to set this on a flat surface so you get an even measure. And we need it to go to the 1/4 line. All right, once you have your milk measured, you can put your milk to the side. And now all we're gonna do is take this and just pour it over our mixture. Just kind of all the way across. This is gonna make our potatoes creamy, and it's just gonna taste good. You can put your liquid measuring cup to the side. We're done with that. And now from here, we just have to cook it. So this goes in the microwave for 2 minutes. Once that 2-minute timer goes off, we're then just gonna stir it, and then we're gonna put it back in for a minute. So let's go ahead and put this in for 2 minutes, and then we'll talk about stirring it. All right, friends, so the first 2 minutes are now done. So all I'm going to do is put an oven mitt on because the bowl might be a little bit hot from cooking for 2 minutes in our microwave. So I'm gonna put an oven mitt on for safety, and I'm just going to carefully take this out. And it's not too hot, so I'm going to, if yours is hot, make sure to keep your oven mitts on. Mine's not too hot, but I'm just gonna give this a stir so you can kind of see that all the cheese is kind of on the side of the bowl and our milk is still towards the bottom. So we wanna mix that up before we cook it one last time, and then it's done. I'm just giving this a quick stir. That's all it needs. Get as much off your fork as possible. And now we're just gonna put this back in for 1 minute. And that's the last time it needs to cook, so 1 more minute. All right, so that was just our last minute of cooking. I am going to put the oven mitts on because the bowl will be hot again. And all we're gonna do is take this out, set it on our workspace, and let it cool for 2 minutes. Friends, so this is just cooled for 2 minutes. We again just want to make sure that the bowl is not too hot to touch and that when you take that first bite, it doesn't burn your mouth. But this is it. So all we did was mix a few ingredients in this bowl. Now you could definitely eat it right out of there, out of your mixing bowl if you wanted to. It's up to you if you want to dirty another dish or not. I just have a smaller bowl, so I'm just going to take my fork that we've been using and just putting it in a smaller bowl to eat and enjoy. Like I said, we only used just a few ingredients and it only needed to cook in our microwave for 3.5 minutes total. And then we now have these easy cheesy potatoes, and it's just a great breakfast option. Maybe it's a side dish to a meal, just a quick afternoon snack. Those are the choices that you can make when you cook for yourself in the kitchen. So I do hope you try to make this or try and make it again. And when you do, as I always say, let me know how it goes. Leave me a comment, let me know if you have any questions. You can even send me a picture of how your easy cheesy potatoes turned out. I'd love to get to see your creation, and maybe we can share it next week. Speaking of next week, on next week's episode, which is episode 50, we are learning how to make egg and cheese hash brown muffins. So maybe you, like me, have leftover hash brown patties from this recipe, so I thought we would turn them into muffins. These muffins have just 4 ingredients. They'll cook in our oven for 20 minutes and we'll make 3 muffins. In order to cook along and make our egg and cheese hash brown muffins, these are the ingredients that you'll need to have in your kitchen for next week. 2 hash brown patties, 1 egg, 3 tablespoons of shredded cheese, a pinch of salt and pepper, and cooking spray. Well, friends, our time together today is almost over. I do hope you've enjoyed learning how to make our easy cheesy potatoes. I know I had fun, and I already can't wait to cook again next time. But before you say goodbye to this episode, make sure to click subscribe if you haven't already. You just have to click the little picture of me in the corner. That way you don't miss next week's episode. It'll be out on Friday. And I'll see you then. Bye, friends. It's time to eat.